Greetings and welcome to you. I am Shoshana, and today we're going to do a pick a card reading using our medicine deck, our medicine cards, and our career oracle. If you're curious about the book that I used, this is the Lakota Sweat Lodge cards, and this is the book that goes with the medicine cards. It's very difficult to obtain because it's an older version that did not get continued. You know what I mean? So these are the piles. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. I want you to choose the card that goes with what you feel, not what you want to feel, not what you wish, not what you hope, not what you dream, but what you feel. This is a diagnosing reading. We are going to diagnose the issue for each pile that is feeling confused about a certain issue, that is feeling an identity crisis in regards to a certain issue, whatever the issue may be. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin with pile 1. If you chose this one here, we are going to diagnose your issues that you're having. These are just collective readings. They will not resonate with everyone, so be mindful of that. For what is out of balance, we have the old man, sorcerer of the north. So there are resolutions that need to be made in a certain situation in your life. Pile 1. How do we resolve these issues? By not supporting the deception, by not supporting deceptive people, by not supporting people who drain us, by not believing the deception, by not believing the lies. That is how you resolve your life and your reality. Even with grocery stores, I will no longer put all of my money in a single grocery store that doesn't even sell real food. So I've been really careful about where, I'm putting all my energy in regards to grocery stores and things that we have to purchase. Purchasing them from family-owned businesses, smaller businesses, supporting all the smaller businesses. You might think that where you put your money doesn't matter, but it does. So the tool that you have is yourself. You are the solution to the problem. You might be feeling like, I really need a miracle to fix my life. You are the miracle. It's you, it's your own shadow. And life is really interesting because a lot of times we will get ourselves in these situations, stress, worry, over what? Over something that doesn't really equal to what we're really upset about. And sometimes we will call ourselves or catch ourselves where, let's say, we're angry. We're angry because something didn't go our way. We're angry because the laundromat is closed and you weren't able to do laundry. And then you're super, super angry. Is it really because the laundromat is closed, or is there an underlining issue? Is there something going on underneath? You ever catch yourself, pile one, being angry no matter what? That is all spiritual interference that doesn't want to see you happy. You might have an issue with staying happy or keeping the joy. You feel really happy. You're grateful. You feel laughter and joy. And all of a sudden, something happens and just disrupts it. That is all spiritual interference. And if you catch it and say, no, no, I reject you, I void you, I delete you, you are disintegrated to ashes. It can no longer steal your joy. There's something that is constantly trying to steal pile one's joy. There could also be a jealousy coming from males, a jealousy, a male, a jealous male energy wishing you harm, a false friend. And when you cut off the false friends, when you block the false friends that are just trying to destiny swap with you, that is a resolution in itself, because you can no longer get hurt by someone that you cut off away from your circle. I want to pull some more cards for you because I feel like there's something that you're going through that is very complex. I don't have all my aces in here because we're using it for the piles, but let's see what we can gather from our fun poker cards. Poker cards I really like using for complex issues. Medicine cards are really good for core issues, spiritual issues, blockages, but poker cards are really good for complex issues. And no, I absolutely do not read them like people read tarot. I'm not associated with the entity of tarot. Okay, pile one. Okay, so do you see how this male is coming out again? There might be a male that wants to take advantage of you financially. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. Be careful of people who want to keep proximity to your blessings and not your soul. They can care less about you. They just want to benefit from something that is growing for you. Pile one, because you chose this pile, just because you chose this color, you are a progressive pile, very connected to nature and environmental rights. And you have a life and you have a purpose. But for some reason, you have this fear that you're not the solution, but you are. It's like you have a narcissist that wants to cripple you so that you don't see your power. You might even be dealing with energy vampires that say that you're not worthy of whatever it is that you're trying to become. This card here is associated with confronting difficult emotions instead of avoiding them, going through them. Okay, so this person might be a lover or an ex that, or even a spouse that is causing issues, and there might be a separation or you both going your separate ways, but there's either legal issues or energetic issues that is not letting you be in peace. And you feel like the obstacles that are coming from all of this are endless. This might be your spouse. This might be a divorce. And this, whatever it is taking up this is affecting your health. So I really hope that you're living apart, or you're trying to find a way to live far away from this person. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I feel an abusive energy, okay? I felt it right away when I saw this card. There's somebody that makes you tremble, okay? I'm trembling just tuning into the energy. There's um obviously different variations of groups here, but I feel like there is an abusive person that you need to protect yourself from, that you need to guard yourself from, that you need to cut away from your life. For some of you, this is like a zombie energy, narcissist energy, um, a spouse, a divorce. And when this card comes out in a spread like this, it's sometimes somebody that wants to take your beep, somebody that does not want to see you. I don't even know how to code that. Somebody who does not want to see you a live blooming flower. Okay, this is like restraining order energy. This is like flee to a different country energy. So I really hope that you're careful, pile one. For some of you, this is the father of your kids. And on top of all of this abuse, they've been unfaithful. They're the ones who are the unfaithful one, but they're treating you like you're the one who did all those betrayals. Isn't it crazy? And for some of you, if not the same ones, the love of your life is here. This is like you leaving somebody who wants to take that away from you, and then you have the love of your life that wants you alive and well. Okay, so that's all that we're going to gather. Um, Take whatever resonates and leave what does not. Just be very careful. And these times that we're in, you're better off alone, because these are not times to be opening yourself up to just anybody. Journey. You may move to a new place for work or travel for work. Exploring the world gives you the experience you need to succeed. So go ahead and take a journey. Taking a journey, I personally feel like this is not just moving for work or travel, but moving for security to save your life. Let's pull one last oracle for you. So that is the diagnosing for you. The diagnosing for you is removing the dangerous people from your life. Yours is very physical. I came in assuming to diagnose non-physical things, but pile one, yours is very physical. Flashback, people from the past return. You may work with previous coworker or take back an old job. You get a second chance. I don't like this energy. This flashback energy is maybe what you need to be really careful with. I don't like somebody from your past returning unless they are the love of your life. Okay? If they are this person, if the flashback is this person, then go right ahead. But if it's the other person that is super dangerous to be around, then I don't think that you should. That's about all the messages that I have for you. You are perfectly safe when you do not ignore your inner instincts. Okay? When you dismiss your inner instincts, that is when you're no longer safe. Okay? So I want to reassure you that there's a ticking time, there's a clock, there's a pattern, there's a routine. Do not announce your exit. Be very discreet about everything. Don't leave any tracks, okay? I hope that you get through this pile one. Let's move on to pile two. Pile two, if you chose this one here, what is the diagnosing for you? If you chose this shiny, shiny red little button, I love these buttons. They're so cute. What is out of balance for you? Pile two. Okay, so moving on. Moving on. What in your life are you ready to move on from, to go towards the new chapter, the new book? What are you outgrowing, or what have you outgrown? Because it's like there's a repetition that is unnecessary, an unnecessary repetition where you're just either staying at the same job that you're not happy in or staying in the same school that you're not happy in. And the suggestion here is talking about your creativity. You are extremely talented in either drumming, painting, music, teaching, the metaphysical arts, the healing arts, and you can make a profit from all of this. Of course, there are, nonprofit organizations or those of us who do things for oh my gosh, for charity, for nonprofit. There's those of us who do things for charity. But in your case, there's the opportunity to leave your job eventually to do what you're talented in full time. And that would make you very happy. For some of you, you might be feeling anger because you're overscheduled. Your manager is always telling you to come in last minute. And maybe sometimes your manager does not put you on the schedule. And as soon as you find out that you're not on the schedule, you, pile two, are very productive. So you will start painting. You'll start doing a mural. You'll start writing a song. You'll start recording beats. You'll start doing what you do, you know? And you get a phone call and it's your manager. And they just realized that they thought that they put you on the schedule, but they didn't. And now they're calling you twice trying to make you feel guilty, like, hey, I need you to come in. Can you please come in? And not even apologizing. Have you noticed that a lot of times when managers call you in last minute, they don't even apologize? Like, you're not even apologizing that you're trying to make me come in to a shift that you did not put me in at a respectable time. And it's okay. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you didn't realize that a truck was coming in. And they don't even own up to it. Like, hey, I'm sorry that this is so last minute. And then you're like guilt tripping because you didn't answer. And sometimes it's a blessing, you know. My phone is always on silent. My phone is always on silent. And I know that in case of an emergency, my phone should not be on silent, but my phone is always on silent because it's so peaceful. It's so peaceful. I'm trying to get rid of this glare. Um, that I didn't realize was there this entire time. I don't even know what the glare is coming from. There's no sunlight. There's no sun today. We got some sun yesterday, but there's been chemical being sprayed on us, trails, you know, when they spray the skies and zigzag all this garbage that I rebuke, and it makes people really sick, and it causes clouds that cover up the sun. They don't want us to be healed by the sun. They want to constantly block the sun. So, anyways, I forgot what my point was. But if you ever feel unhappy, it's because you're constantly interrupted when you're passionate. And you're not passionate all the time. You're not always passionate. You have to get there. You have to get to being inspired and motivated. You have to deal with family members and emotions and compartmentalizing your mood swings and your hormones and dealing with hormone disruptors like polyester, you know, and it all piles up. So you're not going to feel crafty just anytime. You're not going to feel inspired just anytime. So when you do feel inspired, you don't want to get interrupted, but you do. And that's why I put my phone on silent, because I meditate a lot. I do a lot of meditating. I do a lot of Taoism work, a lot of Taoism chants, a lot of connecting with Source and overcoming things within my mind, you know. And my phone is on silent so that whenever I reach a breakthrough, there's no interruption there. And times are hard right now. You can't just ask for a less shift, because sometimes when you ask for a less shift, they give you less hours because that's the shift that they need and there's no other shift or other hours to cover for that. So if you say, I just want to work, you know what I mean. If you can, pile two, if you can afford one less shift, I recommend one less shift for your mental sanity, for your art, for Christ's sake, so that you can create. You know, there's a different time and place for everyone. Sometimes we're meant to be grounded. Sometimes we're meant to connect with Source and have an intellectual conversation. Sometimes we have to create. And pile two, You need uninterrupted space to create, because if people were to just leave pile two alone, pile two can create a masterpiece, and they just want to be left alone. And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, pile two. I know. Because let's say everybody got the picture. Exactly. Everybody got the picture, right? Everybody's like, okay, let's leave pile two alone. Pile two is my aunt. Pile two is my mother. Pile two is my grandfather. Pile two is my uncle, my brother. And I'm always harassing them. I'm always harassing them with questions, and they haven't painted for a really long time. I'm going to leave them alone. So then everybody in your household decides that they're going to go to the park without you on purpose, so that they can give you space and peace and silence to create your masterpiece, to start your business, to do your painting, to do your mural, to do your drumming. And then you're sitting there and you can't, because you can't force art. When it comes to creating art, you can't force it. So even when people give you that piece, give you that empty slot, sometimes it's your day off, and there no inspiration comes in, no motivation comes in. And then your family gets back, your roommates get back, your spouse gets back, and they're like, "So, what'd you record today? What'd you do today?" And you're just like, what do they call it when authors, um, they're writer's block. They just can't write. You can't force art. Okay. So that's where all of your frustration is coming from. It's just you don't like your job, not necessarily because of A, B, or C, but because they take your schedule during the week instead of you choosing it, where you want to choose when to work. Maybe you should look into DoorDash or those apps where you deliver things, or maybe even transport people. I don't know, because then you decide if you want to work and nobody tells you what to do. I want to see you creating pile two. Your last one here is your tools that you have. The tools that you have to sustain in alignment where you're happy for a consistent amount of time, and creating profitable hobbies, is your own talent. Your own talent. Literally, your own talent. That is your tool. It's your own talent. A lot of the readings lately, the tools are all internal, and we tend to seek for external solutions, and we don't find them because they're not there. They're internal. Okay? So the diagnosing for you is creating to improve your mood. Let's do an oracle, a career oracle for you. Passage. Your current situation is a means to an end. You're making the uncertain voyage to a new world. Enjoy the discoveries as you go. So, what can you do so that how you make your living is no longer just a situation to make ends meet? How can you turn your hobby into a profitable career? Because that is what will make you happy. Pile two. is when your work does not feel like work. You have cultivation. You are in the growing phase right now, and you must continue to water the seeds you have planted in order to reap the rewards. Let's see if there's any additional messages. Mystical issues. You're having mystical issues because there's something that you can't move on from. What is keeping you from moving on to progressing, pile two? Is it alcohol? Is it a drug? Is it addiction? Is it a substance abuse? Is it some kind of self-destructive, self-sabotaging addiction, characteristic, personality trait? There's something that needs to go. It's not just going to be that easy. Or is it? Or is it? It is easy. You just say no. You just say no. So, where you used to have a hard time expressing your voice to say no, now you're going to be able to say no easily because there's something that you don't want to feel ever again. You don't ever want to feel pain. You don't ever want to feel what self-destructive and self-sabotaging thoughts and actions bring. You just don't ever want to do that again. It's like you already hit rock bottom, pile two, and you are open to make the resolutions that you need to make. Let's do some more just in case. Since these technically cancel each other out, how is the issue going to most likely conclude into if you keep moving the way you've been moving? Wonderful. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So, by you saying no to the self-destructive habit, it will get easier and easier to continue saying no, therefore promoting yourself, promoting your product, and reaping what you've been wanting to reap, which is a profitable hobby. Thank you so much for watching, pile two. Goodbye. Pile three. Ooh, if you chose the Ace of Diamonds with this gold button about how you're feeling right now. And what we need to diagnose to make your life better, right? So let's go ahead and begin. Let's give this a good shaking. While we shuffle, what is out of balance, first of all, for pile three? What is out of balance? Pile three, you're jolly. You're so jolly. And a lot of you have more than enough. And wealth and materials, abundance is attracted to you. You always have everything that you need because of your mentality and how you were taught or how you were brought up. How we are brought up really affects us not only emotionally, psychologically, but financially in how we manifest, how long it takes us to manifest. And when we have that limited mindset mother or father. They really engrave the worst case scenario fears into that child without even realizing it, and engraves it so much that when that person grows up, they do the same thing to their children. And they have to catch themselves and cut those cords and say, no, I'm not going to go OCD on this, that, or the other. I'm not going to be a control freak with this, that, or the other. Those are all genetic. And I don't choose to continue those genetic cords. Pile 3, the first card that we have for you is what is out of balance. What is out of balance for you is the mole. The mole is all about regeneration and using your sensory system to prevent catastrophe, right? And right now, you feel like you're supposed to be doing something, but you don't know what. You want to invest, but you don't know in what. You want to donate, but you don't know in what. You feel like you were meant to move money around. This is the time for you to embrace satisfaction and passion. If you have someone that is safe and healthy, becoming a power couple together, creating an empire together. And if you're single, finding that person this year, hopefully, to become a power couple with, because you haven't done that your whole life and you feel like that is what your purpose is not just creating a family, but creating something with a partner, with someone that you can trust to multiply your wealth for a good cause. So the diagnosing that needs to happen with you has to do with your receptors, okay? We don't just have six senses. They teach us that we have this ridiculous amount of sensors. We have an unlimited amount of sensory system. We're the strongest, most powerful quantum system in the universe, okay? And that's why we're constantly AT'd, constantly having to deal with interference and the opposing force, constantly having to push away, clear away, right? So, what is the diagnosing here is not searching for external solutions and using your own sensory system, going inward to figure out how you're going to make the purpose of why you're here. The enemy has theirs. The enemy has their reason, right? The enemy has their reason why we're here. And the genuine light, the authentic light, also has their reason on why we're here. And who are we going to serve? Whose reason are we going to serve? Are we going to serve the genuine, authentic light, not the false light? Because the false light is the false artificial light that is a trap. I'm talking about the real, genuine light. Or are we going to choose the underworld? And that alters your destiny, on those little tiny decisions that you make. When you're doing this whole power couple thing and you both choose a positive path together, you create something and move it into motion. So, what are you going to create together? What are you going to open up together? The diagnosing that has to happen here is getting over an uncomfortable conversation. I feel like an uncomfortable conversation needs to be had. The tool is manifesting, the tool is putting manifestation into motion. The diagnosing the issue is stagnation. Stagnation is I can't find the right word to describe what I'm trying to say, but there's peace, there's silence, there's grounding, and then there's stagnation. What is stagnation? Stagnation is when you are wasting energy and time over and over and over again to the point where it becomes toxic, to the point where it infests into some blockage, and then you try and blame external things when it was you. There's so many different kinds of interferences, and a lot of times when people are germophobic, for example, it's all about the external and they're not paying attention to what's going on inside. Parasitic thoughts. Are you allowing parasitic thoughts to fester? Stagnation is wasting time and energy, wasting purpose, wasting blessing, wasting miracles, wasting resources. All because of what? Because of fear, because of chronic introversy that is so chronic that it's out there to being mentally ill. Isolation creates dementia. Isolation creates mental illness. And it just seems like we're in this really strange time that these are agendas that people are falling for, unfortunately. I don't want to go too deep into it because I can go real blunt, but I try not to. Because I'm not here to hurt people's feelings. I'm just here to diagnose the issue, and there's just a certain amount of depth that I can only go into at certain times. And I don't want to complicate things by saying the wrong thing and then the wrong group take it the wrong way. You got this 2 times. Love, 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 love. I have a question. Is there a group in here that hasn't told their lover that they love them? Because if that's the issue, it's here. Somebody here needs to tell somebody that you love them, because you're creating stagnation and toxicity and danger. Why do I keep getting that energy? I feel like it's an agenda. I feel like there's an agenda to create division amongst women to the point where there's no longer sisterhood, because women are extremely powerful, for one. And then there's this other agenda that wants to keep the man away from the woman, because a power couple is powerful. So it wants to feminize the man through the drinking water and soy and even shaving strips. Did you know that they put things inside the shaving strip so that it goes straight to your blood? So if there's something that you're not cooperating with getting into your system, they find a way through the shaving strips. And did you know that you need to stop buying Trump cheese? Can I say that? I recommend that you only buy European cheese because the Trump cheese is now owned by Beep Iser. Okay, your love, love, love. Pile two. This is about love. Are you feeling in love and you haven't told the person that you love them? Are you mentally ill? If you really love them, you'll tell them you love them because do you want to lose them? Who's going to replace that? There's no one who's going to replace that. There's like this quote. I don't know if it's true, but it says something like men get the women that they can and women get the man that they want. Men get the women that they can get and women get the man that they want. But the man wants the woman. The man only wants the woman, but the woman needs the man. I read that somewhere the other day and I found that was kind of interesting. And I'm like, huh, okay. Um, it sounds about true because it's like the man does not need her, she needs him. Biologically, the man is stronger for a reason. We need them and they just want us. But, anyways, it's just a quote. It's just a quote. Give and take. Be open to giving and receiving to keep the flow of abundance going. Give someone a chance and ask for what your heart desires. For some reason, I want to say and ask for what your heart desires, meaning ask them, what does your heart desire? Give and take, okay? A relationship cannot be sustained and survive off an unequal amount of give and take. Okay, that's all that I have for you. Did I call you pile two? Well, anyways, that was pile three. Um, very interesting pile. How many did I pull for you? I can hear you, pile three. Pile three is like, please pull one more. Let's pull one more for pile three. Sorry I called you pile two. It's very difficult to do pile readings and to memorize which one I'm doing at a time, especially when the energy spills over a little bit because sometimes people will choose multiple piles so it kind of spills. Okay, and then we've got unfolding access to greater prosperity is opening up for you slowly. You are growing as you learn more and keep expanding. Okay, so I feel like this is not only at a soul level, but a financial level. During this time, pile three, you are growing spiritually as you learn to trust your inner instincts and growing and expanding financially. Like ideas are coming in, or realizations of where you sold yourself short in a certain position and how never to do that again. Because the best part of looking for a new job is gathering all the things that you learned about what you don't want to do ever again, right? Okay, now I'm done. Pile 4, if you chose the black spade, why are we so gloomy today? If you chose this black and shiny button, why hello, hello. What is out of balance for pile 4? What is out of balance for pile 4? Let's go ahead and begin with our medicine cards. You're having a hard time organizing your life. You're so frustrated. You're so angry. For some of you, you're having S thoughts, and you need to understand that those are entities that are giving you S thoughts. You have a lot of talent, and you need to learn how to transmute your anger. I told you. What is out of balance for you, pile 4, is your anger, your addiction, your self-destructive thoughts, self-sabotaging behavior. Anger, you need to learn how to transmute into being productive. So let's say something doesn't go your way. You throw something to the floor and you're like, grr, I didn't get my way. All of a sudden, you have all this energy. Start cleaning your house. You start cleaning vigorously. You're vacuuming, you're mopping, you're just cleaning things with anger, yet getting things done. You got all these garbage bags and throwing away random items that make you angry, right? And all of a sudden, you put on a candle, you put on some incense. Smells so good. You make some hot water and you clean your organs and drink that hot water. And all of a sudden you're calm and you're like, wait a minute, I was crashing out over A, B, and C. I transmuted that anger. I cleaned my house. Now I feel crystal clear. Now I can be inspired. And that's how transmutation works. So you over here are dealing with substance abuse. The reason why you have substance abuse or addiction issues is because of ego. Okay? When things don't go your way, you are very intelligent and you know that you feel better when you're sober. You're very intelligent. And you know, skippity, that you feel better when you're sober, when you don't take the drugs, when you don't take the alcohol, you feel better. But something doesn't go your way because an entity always infiltrates it. The opposing force, spiritual interference, whatever you want to call it, doesn't want to see you happy, right? So it makes certain that something doesn't go your way. And you're throwing things around and you're like, fine, I'm not going to get what I want. I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to go to the pub. I'm going to go call my friend that has those special kind of pills. And you're, getting your stuff. But if you were to just take one moment to call yourself out, one moment to get yourself together, man, and say, am I really an addict? Am I really an alcoholic? Am I really uncontrollable? Or is it the ego? Because as a recovering alcoholic myself, I have learned through the years, through psychology, addiction, experimentation, evaluating, reflecting my own family's behavior, the behavior of how alcohol functions in different body systems. There's some blood that is thinner than others, so certain ethnicities can handle it more than others. And then, all that together, right? But what I found was not, I wasn't prepared for. I wasn't prepared for finding that 9 out of 10 times it is ego that takes over. And it's not always addiction, it's ego. You are strong enough and intelligent, competent enough to know that you're going to feel like crap when you're done with the drugs, when you're done with the pub. However many days that takes, because sometimes addicts will go to pub for days and binge for weeks, right? I honestly believe that pile 4 has been labeled forced to rehab, labeled an alcoholic, labeled things by family members that aren't actually true. To choose to be self destructive, to choose to take a substance, and then to be an addict that can't control themselves. Very interesting, because this pile 4 does not have an issue with the addiction. You have an issue with ego. And then, because you allow ego to win, you get possessed by entities and D's that are in your crashing out vicinity, right? So then you rebel because you didn't get your way, and you purchase the items that are self destructive, and then you become the addicted one. Then you become addicted. So addiction actually comes second, ego is first. And the ego is associated with entity possession because you allow that ego to come in, right? And then the addiction also follows second as the second thing that happens, because once you start, then your body gets addicted because you started, but it's did not begin because you are weak. You began because you could not control and check your ego. Pile 4. In the morning, you crash out. You've been to multiple psychiatrists. You have tried to get, I need to flip over a card that's upside down. You've tried to get prescriptions, and you have to be careful with your prescriptions. I would recommend only traditional Chinese medicine, teas, herbs, oils, CBD, and or THC microdosing. Microdosing THC and CBD is very good for pain and emotional and compartmentalizing. THC and CBD, microdosing it if you find the most natural form derived, not the synthetic genetically modified stuff, but if you find the real holistic, naturally derived THC and CBD and all those kinds of things, if you microdose them, you can control and manage your sleep cycles. um, I personally use THC and CBD, microdosing it for my own mental issues, and I am able to control it to the point where I can request on demand almost. Do I want this dose to wake me up or put me to sleep? It's when you find a really good strain, you should be able to do that with the strain. What do I want to do with this sensation? Do I want to sleep or do I want to wake up feeling motivated for life? Because it's also dangerous to go unmedicated if you have a neurological imbalance. So you have to find out if you have a neurological imbalance or if it's interference. Do you need medication or do you need to be off medication? So many questions. If you need a neurological chiropractor, their information is on my homepage description link. So not only are you dealing with psychological issues, the ego is associated with lack of compassion for yourself, where you're punishing the inner child for not being satisfied. And you just have to come from a place of love and embrace both the inner child in you that is male and female, because some of you are punishing your inner child by gender. So it's important to, this is just a method I use for healing if necessary, if you're having gender issues, is imagining your inner child representing both genders. That's only for the ones that need it, but it's usually not necessary. Um, Having more compassion towards your inner child and treating your inner child as if it represents both genders, meaning like I love you inner child, I love you male inner child, I love you female inner child. The male version of me or the female version of me, the inner child version of me, the little voice in me, have compassion towards that voice, because when you crash out and you decide to go to the store, guess who you're driving to the pub? You're driving along your precious inner child, and your inner child is connected to your soul star. Your soul star is on the left side. You have like your spirit star, and that is associated with your inner child, and it's the one that will never it will never age. The inner child is the light of your spirit that does not age. Aging is actually a scam, and birthdays are actually spells. When they make you blow out a candle, they're making you age. And why would you want to age? So stop blowing out candles for your birthday. Um, the cake represents the uterus. So all these cults have all these crazy cults that they've done to the point where even birthday celebrations are pagan. So when I found that out, I stopped blowing candles for my birthday. I'm no longer blowing out candles for my birthday because aging is a scam. In ancient times, people used to live thousands and thousands of years. So the diagnosing for you is getting over your ego, being more compassionate over your inner child, and the craziest thing of all is your community is the one that's going to be your tool. You don't have to rely on yourself. You have a whole community. You have your family. You have family members. You have friends that would be more than happy to support you. For those of you who believe that you need rehab, go ahead. Go to rehab if you think it helps. If it helps you become a better parent, a better human. But like I said, I feel like there's a big chunk of a 50% in this pile that is not really an addict, and you just have to clear and exercise the ego like a demon. I tell you, it's so crazy because I have encountered so many different kinds of issues that need to be cleared and purged out. But just like my studies with alcoholics, my studies with Taoism and spiritual work, I think it's been since 2000. Let's see how long. Actually, I can't tell you. I'm not going to tell you. um, my studies with alcoholics and spiritual energy is very similar, if not exactly the same. It festers through ego, it goes through the ego door. When someone chooses ego over the inner child, you open up a door to infiltration. Okay, so let's see if there's any additional messages for you. I want to keep it simple, I don't want to complicate things. Any additional messages for pile 4? It's gonna be difficult and cringy in the beginning, yes. But, as you go and do some journal writing of the patterns, drafting on your email about the patterns and breaking them, you will start getting stronger, okay? Trust and believe that ego is a huge deal. So, your ego is affecting your finances. So not only is ego affecting your mental health, ego is affecting your finances. So as you check your ego, your financial situation will improve and your mystical issues should improve. Let's see if that's going to be sufficient. If acknowledging your inner child and your inner child needs more, purging out ego in order to have a breakthrough against addictions and relapses. Is that going to be sufficient for this pile? All right, so you're going to have to do a complete ending. So whatever is causing self-destruction in your life, whatever is causing self-sabotaging scenarios in your Vita, right, needs to come to an end completely. Because some of you are sitting there thinking, does this mean that I should do A, B, and C only on weekends or only on birthdays or only on special occasions? No, no, no. It means that you need to completely put an end to a certain substance. So just because I'm saying that you're not an addict, just because I'm saying that it's actually your ego does not mean that you should keep your drug of choice. Does that make sense? It still needs to go. You still need to take it out of your life. And when you completely end that chapter, then you're going to come back feeling like yourself, dancing disco. You're just going to be like, oh, okay, this is where I was this whole time. Your true self is hiding. Your true self is hiding in a pile of ego and self destructive behavior. Okay? You do not have to do this alone. You can keep your options open when it comes to rehab and love. I don't know why I want to say that, but it's a heart. So, you're not cornered. Your romantic life is not cornered because maybe you had someone pushed onto you. Maybe your friends or your family pushed a certain lover towards you. Like, here, this is a perfect person, and pushed a person onto you. And you have a right to keep your love life options open. Just because people push an option to you doesn't mean that you should be with that person, because that person that people push towards you is often going to cause disharmony, problems, and obstacles for you later. Don't go for people that are pushed onto you. Go for someone that you are actually attracted to at a soul level. I also feel like you're going to have to cut off a lot of negative influences. A lot of negative influences and negative people are just going to have to be weeded out, pruned out, okay? And you have a desire to make a commitment. Who do you want to make a commitment to? Yourself? A commitment to your options, a commitment to a new life, a commitment to multiple doors opening for you as you adjust your life and make new, more responsible decisions that are going to serve and nurture your inner child, as opposed to feeding ego that is going to eventually make you ill if you continue to do that. People who let ego win end up aging themselves because they cannot admit that there's an interference associated with it. So they never clear it. They think nothing is wrong. They think the ego is all them. It is not all you. Ego does not want you happy. Therefore, ego is an entity that needs to be cleared. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Bye.